Castillo San Marcos National Monument, today's historic weapons demonstration. Guys, today what we're going to do for you is we're going to fire this musket back here called a wall gun. Now, before we do that, there's a few more things I want to go over for your safety and the safety of the fort. Guys, please remember that parts of the fort are 339 years old, and that means whether these walls and these cannons look like it or not, they are fragile. So please keep in mind while you're here today that every time we come in contact with it, by climbing on the walls, leaning on them, sitting on them, picking at them, anything like that, we take a little piece of it away that we can never ever replace. And guys, while you're inside the fort, especially while upstairs on the gun deck, please remember, it's a really terrible idea to sit, stand, or lean on the walls upstairs because guys, this is a government project built 339 years ago by the lowest bidder. They sit on the walls upstairs, guys, very easily. You can find them crumbling out from underneath you, and you tumble 33 feet down to the bottom. If you walk away from that, the guys up front make you pay to get back in, and then we all laugh at you. And if you don't walk away from that, there's a lot of paperwork, a lot of phone calls, and it ruins everybody's day. All right, guys? Now, with those things being said, what we're going to do for you is we're going to fire this weapon back here, but I want to give you a little bit of history about the history of the fort first. Guys, the fort that you're visiting today, the Castillo San Marcos, began construction in 1672. Making it one of the oldest standing structures in the continental United States. Guys, the Spanish built this place in order to hold on to Florida, to protect Florida from foreign encroachment, mainly by the English. Because remember, St. Augustine is founded in 1565, making the city of St. Augustine the oldest continuously occupied European settlement in the continental United States. This place is older than Plymouth, and it's older than Jamestown. This place has been around for a long, long time. That being said, the Spanish didn't get around to building this stone fortress until 1672. At that point, the Spanish realized that the English had colonies in Virginia, Massachusetts, New York, and South Carolina. And all of these colonies were growing and thriving, and the Spanish realized it was only a matter of time until the English in those colonies said, hey, let's go down to Florida, let's go down to St. Augustine, let's kick those Spanish out of Florida, and let's make Florida an English colony instead of a Spanish one. Well, the Spanish didn't want that, obviously. So the Spanish began construction of the fortress that you're visiting today. They began building this place in 1672. It wasn't complete the way you see it until 1756. This place was under construction for a long, long time. But guys, the fortress has been in 15 battles, 2 major sieges, and it's never lost a single one. And that's absolutely incredible. And that has everything to do with the way the place is built, designed, and defended by the people of St. Augustine. Now, with that being said, what we're going to show you today, we're going to fire this wall gun. Now this is one of the weapons that the Spanish used to help defend the city of St. Augustine, to help defend this fortress. The wall gun, guys, is basically, what does it look like anyway? It looks like a musket because that's pretty much what it is, guys. It's basically a 6-foot long musket, weighs about 40 pounds, and fires a 1-inch diameter musket ball. Why would you want to fire a 1-inch diameter musket ball? Anybody know why? Hurts. Because it hurts. Exactly, guys. This weapon is not as much of an anti-personnel weapon. It's more of an anti-materiel weapon. You're going to fire this wall gun at high-profile targets at long range. Those high-profile targets are going to be things like cannon carriages, supply carriages, officers on horseback, things like that. Because this weapon is going to be accurate out to about 600 yards, maybe a little bit further, depending on who's using the weapon. A 1-inch diameter musket ball slamming into a cannon carriage is going to destroy the wood on that cannon carriage and disable the cannon carriage. If you disable the cannon carriage, what else can't you do?
You can't fire it.
You can't fire the cannon, so guess what? The enemy can't use that cannon anymore. That's great. As many of these cannons that you wipe out as possible makes the enemy's force less effective and makes our force more effective, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, that's the idea. You also want to knock out things like supply carriages and things like that. Because if you knock out the supply carriage, who has to carry the supplies now?
The men.
People. And what are those people not doing now?
Fighting.
Exactly. So you use this weapon to knock out those kind of high-profile targets at extreme long range. Now, guys, the way this weapon works is the same way as a musket. If you're familiar with the way muskets work, you have the pan, you prime the pan, you close the pan, you bring the weapon to full cock. When you pull the trigger, the flint strikes the steel. That causes a spark, ignites the powder inside the pan, which in turn ignites the powder inside the barrel and sends the ball down range. Works the same exact way as a musket does, except it's just bigger. Guys, when we're done firing this weapon, you're going to be more than welcome to come across, ask questions, take photographs, and get a close-up look at this thing. But only once we're done firing. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to fire 2 shots for you. All right, we're just going to go ahead and go through the steps fire 2 shots. You'll see how it's done. There's no real drill for a weapon like this. There's no commander that would call out each individual steps like there is with a musket firing demonstration or anything like that. The guys over there are just simply going to load and fire the weapon. Now, once we've done that, all right, once we've done that, we'll let you know that it's safe to come across. But guys, flintlock weapons in the 18th century are kind of finicky sometimes. If we have a misfire, please go ahead and let us handle that. We'll handle the misfire, we'll go through it, we'll clear the weapon, and then you can come across, ask questions, take photographs. And guys, I know the misfire might sound silly and might make us look kind of silly, but they happen in the 18th century, and if you're doing it right, they happen today. It's just a part of life with these kind of weapons. So let us go ahead and go through the demonstration. Once we're done, we'll let you come across, ask questions, take photographs, okay? Does anybody have questions first off before we get started? Just fire the gun, right? Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and go through the steps and fire the weapon. Oh, guys, one more thing. It will be fairly loud, so when we ask you to cover your ears, please do so. Just fair warning. Cover your ears! Whoa! And that's one.
They're both singing, huh?
Cover your ears!